Thanks, Anne-Marie. The Toronto International Film Festival, it's about to wrap up. Can you believe it? So it's a good time to look at the films getting the biggest buzz. There's the Underdog story starring Sydney Sweeney. There's a drama about Shakespeare, a political spy thriller set in the 70s in Brazil.
Yes, sir.
Guess what? We brought in film critic Greg because it is Friday. And I'm so glad you could take the time to join us today to give us kind of like a recap and what we can all look forward to going forward. So first up, let's talk about, what is it, Christy?
Christy,
This is at
yeah.
TIFF. Let's talk about Christy. This is Sydney Sweeney's film. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was a movie, like, all eyes in Hollywood were kind of on this movie, especially because of the American Eagle controversy around Sydney Sweeney, you know, that whole Good Genes campaign that upset a lot of people and made things really divisive. So all of Hollywood was looking at this Christy premiere being like, can Sydney Sweeney, will this help Sydney Sweeney recover? And by all accounts, it has in that sense, because, you know, she's giving like a really strong performance in a movie that maybe doesn't live up to the performance, but she's playing Christy Martin, who was like a real life boxer, who also was living under, had like a really abusive husband and manager. So it's about her survival story. And really it's a movie that's in line with a lot of what Sydney Sweeney, like a lot of movies that she makes where men are feeling very entitled to her and imposing a lot on her. And so like, yeah, like all the buzz around this movie is around Sydney Sweeney's performance, which it's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. People are like, okay, she's gonna get a nomination, which, I mean, I think it's just a performance that's reminding people that Sydney Sweeney, long before she was this politicized sex symbol, she was a solid actress.
Okay, good to know. Hamnet, people are talking about this one at TIFF.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, I feel like this is the one right now that has the best, like it's in the lead position to win Best Picture at the Oscars based on all the buzz from the festival. And because it's basically, it's from Chloe Zhao, who's the director of Nomadland, so already a Best Picture winner. And she's directing Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal as it's about Shakespeare's life, and specifically Shakespeare's family's grief and what inspired Hamlet. And this is a movie that, like, you know, it's really, when I watched this in the theater, it was a chorus of sobs, okay? Like, it really gets you, especially because of Jessie Buckley's heart-wrenching performance. And so that's what I think is what could take it over the edge and make it win the People's Choice Award at TIFF and set it on the road to Oscars.
What would you give the Choice Award to? What was your favorite film at TIFF?
So my favorite film was actually one that I first saw at Cannes, and it was The Secret Agent, okay? And The Secret Agent is like, it's a movie about the 1970s Brazil dictatorship and the people kind of living under the boot of that oppression. Very panoramic view of that situation. Stars Wagner Moura, who you might know from Narcos.
Yeah.
And look, like, this movie it's pulpy, it's epic, it feels like a bit of like a Coen Brothers dark comic thriller, and also a serious Michael Mann docudrama. And like, so it's, you know, it's got the thrills, it's got the comedy, and it's got like the real emotions, the real drama. And the fact that it could pull all those things together is a miracle on its own.
All right. Okay, so that was the Toronto International Film Festival.
Yes.
Let's park that for a second because there are some new releases to talk about this weekend. Can we please start with Downton Abbey, the grand finale? Who is this for?
Look, the person I know this is for is Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie. Like, there is no,
that's so funny.
Listen,
Great shots, by the way.
Look, like, you have to be a fan like Anne-Marie to love this, because of course Anne-Marie loves everything Windsor Castle, Buckingham Palace, and Downton Abbey. Like, and because really, like, otherwise, I don't know that you can make heads or tails of what's going on if you're not like an. Well, but yeah, and bear in mind, this is the third Downton Abbey movie I've watched, and I still don't know who these people are and why I should care about them. Because this,
I'm in, by the way.
You're in.
100%. I love this.
But look, like, the plot of this movie is literally, I guess you know who Lady Mary Talbot is?
She's my favorite.
Yeah, okay, so I mean, the whole movie is about, she's not invited to parties anymore, guys, because she's a recent divorcee. So all the jolly maids and their loyal friends in the aristocracy, they're making sure, like, they don't have any issues with their class status in life, but they're all rallying together to get Lady Mary Talbot invited to parties again.
Well,
like, that's
important.
The plot of the movie.
It's the status symbol.
Yeah, so I mean, I wish I was watching this with Anne-Marie and you guys, because I think I would have enjoyed watching you all delight in this more than I enjoyed watching that movie.
Okay, what about The Long Walk? Who's this one for?
So this is for people who like The Hunger Games and The Platform, which, you know, it's like those. It's a dystopian thriller. It's actually made by the same director as The Hunger Games, and it's an adaptation of a Stephen King novel where it's about a bunch of guys in this dystopic future who have to walk hundreds of miles. If any of them fall behind, they get shot and killed, and the last one standing, the last one still walking, wins this big prize. And look, I mean, you know, you could see the very flat narrative laid out on this long straight road, and so that narrative construction makes this feel a little basic and maybe a little redundant, but you got these really great actors like Cooper Hoffman, who's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, and David Johnson. They're really good at kind of drawing out the characters and making it as interesting as possible and even kind of moving.
So, Lady Mary's Not Invited to Parties is boring, but these people walking is interesting?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. I think we agree to disagree on this one. Film critic Rad, always good to see you.
Thanks, Rad.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.